Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to September 2020. Are you ready for this month of shift? I'd say, yeah, it's a good word, shift. I mean, aren't we always shifting? But September is really unique. It's got a really unique feel to it. Because of course we're starting a Mars retrograde, we're having the equinox, we are going to be having Jupiter and Saturn going direct. So we've got some energy moving around, and we're really setting the stage for the coming months and next year even. So this month is important in some important ways, and important in important ways. Wow, I'm really on my game today, aren't I? But this is a great moment of check-in, a great moment of recalibration. I'm going to say right now for Saggies, you all are already, rule the whole idea of philosophy and worldview, right? And this month is going to be a month where we're going to be working deep with that in the Sagittarian family. Overhaul of philosophy, kind of renegotiating what it is you believe and think and see, and how you see yourself and how you see the world and how you see your role in that world. September is going to be a great time to check in with that, to connect in with that. And that was really the big note that came up for me when I sat with Sag Energy, is that revision. This is a time of review, revision, and also getting adjusted to who you're going to be next. And that's true for all the fire signs. Mars retrograde starts on September 9th. And I'm going to go deep into that on my Patreon, where we're going to go more specifics about that energy, how to work with it, what this transit's doing. But being in a fellow fire sign, it means that this is a time to heal at the heart level. Aries with you is going to be a lot to do with your creativity, your romantic side, your playful side, your childlike side, and your heart chakra. This is going to be a great time to heal, incorporate, tend to anything that you feel you need to catch up with. This is a huge time of heart growth as well. As well, we are going to start seeing both Jupiter and Saturn go direct this month in your neighboring sign of Capricorn. And they're going to be getting ready now, as they station direct, to move out of Capricorn, right? They're already in late degrees of Capricorn, and we are seeing the end of work that's been done for Sagittarians around self-value, worth, money, abundance, possessions, grounding. Venusian ruled things when it comes to being in the physical have been really affected by both Jupiter and Saturn. In some ways, really positive ways of building and creating. In other ways, maybe a little more stressful, depending on what you had coming up. 3 of Wands. So there's been a huge emphasis here on what you want to have in your physical world and where you feel self-value and self-love. And we are going to start noticing that those themes are coming full circle. We're understanding what we learned over the last couple of years and starting to make way and break open our hearts to the next phase of both Saturn and Jupiter when they meet and hang out in Aquarius starting in December. These two are going to be on their way. So this is a powerful time. September is a powerful time. Oh, another card fell. 7 of Pentacles. That is so perfect. I also want to say, equinox for me is one of my favorite times. Both of the equinoxes are so powerful. I really love the one in September. There's such a wonderful time to find balance and harmony with who you are in now. Ace of Swords wanted to come out. Right? A lot has happened since our last equinox. A lot has shifted. I think we can all agree that a lot has shifted in the last 6 months. And an equinox is a wonderful place of balancing and harmony to check in with yourself, to see how you have changed to Knight of Cups. Oh yeah, I love it, Saggies. This is so good. Let's pull one more. Let's see. The sun is also moving through Virgo, fellow mutable sign, your 10th house of who you're going to be in the world, how you want to show up in the world, what you want to look like in the world, and then into your 11th house of your community. So there's a nice thing going on here too with, as you're doing that internal work around your life philosophy, who you think you are. Who do you think you are now? Who are you now, this year, In this month, actually. In this month, who are you now? In October, who are you going to be? Wheel of Fortune. Yep. Change of season for Saggies. Change of feel for what you've been working on, what has felt like the important thing you've been having to mull over. September is going to usher in, it's like, oh, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to focus on these new things. There is a huge change of season here for you all. And one that I think is going to last for the next few years. You're going to be noticing you're growing into a new pair of shoes starting in September. So you're at the beginning of a big process, but I'm looking at all these cards and there's a lot of support here. And generally speaking, September is not about destruction, on the collective level. This is not about destruction. This is not about tearing down. This is about being visionary. And this is about being like integrated and whole and feeling as though we are really being authentic and honest. And the thing that I'm really loving is, oh, the card fell. 3 of Wands right out of the gate. I think what's so interesting with, this whole thing of there's a new season coming and what you felt you had to work on, maybe the things you've been questioning or the questions or the projects that have been coming up for the last few years as big themes are feeling like they're coming full circle. But while you've been consciously focused on those bigger themes, there's been other little seeds you've been planting, questions you've been planting, things you've been preparing that are starting to show up on your shoreline now in this September. Excuse me. And this is a time when you're going to be noticing things are starting to come into you that maybe you hadn't even been focused on. Things that were kind of, maybe you thought, oh, that'll be nice sometime. And then they're here, right? And that's what the sense that I get with you. And as this revision of who you are, this revision of your life philosophy, who you came here to be, there's new understanding going on around that. I think you're able to also see new things. Now, what goes hand in hand with that? What goes hand in hand with a whole bunch of new energy coming in? Assessment. I would say that as much as we all crave, especially fire signs, I'm with you on this, Sag rising, Leo sun, we want the things to happen. We want the events to happen and they start coming in. We always think that we're not going to have to do anything. We're just going to be in go mode and creating and playing and running and doing everything. But the assessment part is really important in this whole process, right? Because we want to lighten our load. We want to travel light so that we can really be present for what's now. And I think this is where the equinox energy is so important, because that 7 of Pentacles really allows you to take a moment and recognize that you have changed. And maybe some of the plants that you planted in January, you're not that interested in continuing to tend to them anymore. And that's fine. There doesn't need to be judgment around this. There doesn't need to be enforced slavery to past versions of self. But it is a great time to just look around, right? 7 of Pentacles is very low drama. In fact, it's kind of the most low key energy here, because it is just taking a moment to assess. Whenever 7 of Pentacles shows up, I think this is a great time to just make some lists. Things that you don't need to do anymore, giving yourself the permission slip to shift your vision. And I do think as new big things come in, it's important to do the assessment piece as well. And that's the thing, you guys. Most of this reading is about big new things beginning. Huge new things beginning. Not just little things, launching into a new adventure. Everything except that 7 of Pentacles is about this new adventure. Ace of Swords. Are you kidding me? Whoa. Ace of Swords clears the fog, right? It clears the uncertainty. It clears the sense of should I, shouldn't I? It's very much about this is it. Here we go, right? Honesty, clarity, decisiveness, commitment, devotion, these kinds of things. So there's something that gets clarified this month that really helps you move forward in life. Something that maybe you have been waffling about or not certain about or kind of holding back on deciding. The Ace of Swords heralds a deep sense of clarity and knowing. And, with that does bring a whole surge of new energy, right? It's always once we have decided, we have released, that suddenly the new things start to come for us. And for you all, as we head into Libra season, as we head into the equinox and we start into Libra season and Jupiter and Saturn go direct, you have some huge infusions here. New adventure is on the way. Now, here's what's interesting. I feel like the momentum of this month kind of keeps building. You know, we start off a little more subtle, a little bit more about assessment, a little bit more about thinking about who you want to be in this world, a little bit more about, okay, I'm going to plant these seeds. Something happens throughout this month that eventually starts you on a whole new journey. You may feel like a beginner. You know, Knight of Cups is super romantic. You know, this is the guy who believes in truth, love, and beauty. And the thing that I love about Sagittarius is that within you, I think you always have that belief in something beautiful and big, you know, bigger than we can even understand it here in this moment. You know, it's one of the things I just love about Sag energy. You're visionary, right? And you want to play, you want to believe in the big stuff. And I love that about Sag energy. And to me, even though Knight of Cups is a water energy, and it's very romantic and very sweet, I think in some ways it really ties into that part of your loving, romantic, believing, adventurous self that is just so open to learn and grow and to be sensitive and to be in tune with what it is that really makes your heart sing. And I think this month is going to be tapping more into that side of the Sagittarian adventurousness. Yes, there's the external Sagittarian adventurousness, which is all about, you know, meeting people and trying things, but there's also the emotional adventurous side of you. And the emotional adventurous side of you, that's not just about, you know, falling in love, maybe, but it's also about exploring who you are becoming and getting and falling in love with that again. And the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, I just love this card. I do. It's a 10, right? 10 is always important. It's the 1 and the 0. It's the beginning and the end, Alpha, Omega, Ouroboros kind of energy here. It's a change in season, and literally it will be a change in season on the equinox, but it's a change in focus. It's a change in energy. It's a change in the way that you are feeling and doing. And once again, I can't emphasize this enough. There's this feeling like some things that you just feel like you've been having to work on, maybe like work on yourself or work on how you see the world or work on a certain relationship or project. It feels as though there's a conclusion here. There's a natural wrapping up and there's a natural opening up to something very different and very new. That worldview shift is going to be, I think, really powerful for you. And I've been noticing it's a really strong theme for September, for everybody, that this is not a time to live in the past. This is not a time to repeat the past over and over again. This is not a time to feel like you have to pull yourself back to some other time and live in that. This is a very visionary month. This is a month that's really asking us to get tapped into who we are now and who we're becoming, and to open ourselves to it and not, give into the fear and close ourselves down from all the stress, right? So it's an important month in that choosing, are you going to choose to open up and move with the flow of this adventure, or are you going to shut down? I'm not so worried about Sagittarius on this front. I think you're all ready for that next chapter to open. I think it's a positive thing. You're like eager for the next lesson, for the next creative juice, for the next answer to come in. You're eager to explore this next phase. And so I don't think you're going to be too resistant to this flow of energy, but it is there. And it is important, like I said, to take that time to assess and be okay with letting go of anything that feels like it was part of that last iteration. You're kind of like, we're all kind of like hermit crabs right now. Or no, what are those called? Are they called hermit crabs? The ones that use different shells as homes, right? They climb into a shell. It's like, ooh, this is a cozy home. And then they have to leave the shell behind. And then they find another shell that fits them better. We're very much in that process right now. I have an invocation for Mars retrograde, for our big journey through the equinox, for the closeout of both Jupiter and Saturn retrograde. And here is the invocation I have for you for this powerful September. May I trust the road I am on. May I let myself out of any pastures or cages that do not serve me. May I welcome the changes in viewpoints that are emerging from the ocean, from me, like ocean waves breaking on a beach. That's the thing. The viewpoints that are coming up from you, the way maybe you're envisioning who you are, even the clothes you're wearing, the way you spend your time in a day may be shifting. They're coming from within you. These aren't all about external events, external scenarios dictating that you're changing. The perspective shifts are coming from inside. The call is coming from inside the house at this time. And it is kind of this sense of them emanating from you like these big, beautiful ocean waves that break on a beach and help you see more clearly. And to see just the next way. It's not about the past being wrong or, decisions being wrong in the past. It's just purely about what's next and cresting on the next wave. And it's a really exciting time. September is going to be extremely powerful and giving us a lot more clarity and a lot more focus for what's next, and to release a little bit and feel a little bit lighter. So I'm excited for that. I love you Sagittarians so much. You mean the world to me. You've changed my world so many times and been there for me so many times. I love you dearly. Like I said, we're going to be going deep on Mars over on Patreon. That's where I'm really offering a lot more guidance every week. And then also with these big transits. So if you're looking for more guidance, I'd love to see you there. You can also find me on Instagram and not Facebook at this time, Instagram and my website. I'll leave the links for all of that below. And then of course, I'm wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. As always, you can find her gorgeous Etsy shop below as well. I will see you all so soon for more magic in October. I love you with all my heart. Talk to you soon.